go. So how's this going to go? Do you know?
Yeah. This is kind of
Rundown.
the swearing in. And I'm going to recognize.
Hey! How are you again? Come on up here.
They have something
Farrah.
called these people plus a few more. They've agreed to speak. Words about Joe.
Huh?
Joe history.
Did you?
And then the city of Inglewood is going to present him a plaque,
Here.
and we'll do
Take
our
a picture of her. Come here, Farrah. Farrah, come here and sit here.
if they'd like to. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right.
No.
Mayor Jefferson's spot.
I just
That's the good seat. No.
Okay.
Hey, that's a
Okay,
perfect place.
Okay, now we're going to look like we're just listening to you.
You have to hold this
Hold the thing up.
with your right hand. There you go.
Nope. You're going to look like you're the boss.
And so what we're going to do is this
Like you're going to hit me with it if I talk out of line one more time.
public comment.
All right, now a nice picture with her. Okay, you can still hold the gavel up.
Thank you, Doug.
Okay, don't hit me in the head with it. One more time. Come on.
You've been taken over already.
I asked her if she was going to be the next mayor. She said yes. So.
There you have it.
Again. Just her.
Okay, turn around. We're doing a picture.
There you
See
go.
how easily you are forgotten.
Next generation
Sarah.
moving in.
There.
Oh, you'll be there soon enough. Oh, yeah?
See my email?
Which one? Which house? Oh, you are? Okay.
Oh, yeah, but
You okay?
I was going to reply with the theme song, but I didn't know how to do that on the phone. Dum, dum, da, dum, dum, da, dum, dum, dum. Yeah, yeah. I don't even know if I did a very good job there.
I just keep singing it.
Excited? Good.
Hi there.
Oh,
Okay. Wonderful.
Rita has a card for you to sign.
And needless to say, my
need a
understanding
pen?
there was a I've got one here.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess that up.
Saying there's a gravel. So whatever I owe to the pot, I'm happy to pitch in.
Yeah. Oh, I was afraid it was going to happen.
Thank you.
Oh, no. In this garage? No, in the garage. At school? Oh, man.
And then I'm trying to get around her because I'm thinking I can get out of this garage. Do you have a card out here? Yes, and Dave's signing them right now.
Okay.
And I will bring them down here, the last one. So there's two of them, one for judge and one for mayor. Did we do anything for Judge Tencio? Thank you or anything? Or is it, because that's a big deal. He's been here for like how many?
Is that clock fast or are we out of time? 6:02. This was on iPhone, so that's true.
Is it one of ours, is it?
I don't know.
Okay, if I can get folks to begin to take their seats, we're going to get started here in just 1 minute. Feels weird not to start with a prayer and invocation.
I know.
Thank you.
It'll be great.
Your chime was up last week.
It'll be great.
Oh, this is. It's not a pin.
It feels weird to have nothing up here. Like none of my notes or anything.
You must be happy.
Yeah. Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome, everyone, to the City of Inglewood special meeting. Tonight we have a very special meeting. We are swearing in our new Inglewood Municipal Judge. That is myself.
But through that in process, inherently, a mayor will be stepping down, a long-term elected official, the former judge will be stepping down. So through this process, we are seeing a very important function and turnover of power within the city itself. As a new year comes, we all look forward to new beginnings, and I think this is a wonderful way to sort of begin that. What I'd suggest, before we get into the main event and the actual swearing in, I'd like to just say a few words and offer that opportunity to my colleagues before I step down in preparation for the swearing in and turn the meeting at that point over to our Mayor Pro Tem to lead our body moving forward. As many of you know, I've been the mayor for the last little over 2 years and a council member for over 10 from District 1. And due to my recent election as the municipal judge, I'll be sworn in tonight and be replaced by a new representative from District 1. That application process just ended tonight, and the City Council will hopefully be selecting a representative of me, and a council member will be elected our mayor. A new mayor will be selected by the council at hopefully our next regular meeting, January 16th. I'm very proud of the work that our City Council, management, and staff have accomplished over the last decade as well as over the last 2 years to strengthen our local neighborhoods and economy. And I feel like we've made great strides improving perception of our community of Inglewood as a place to live and to do business. Real quick, I'd like to highlight just a few things that I think the previous council was really successful in accomplishing. We had at the very beginning of our term, we set a goal-setting session. We came up with 5 themes, and I would like to just share those themes with you and a little information about some of those themes. The first of which was economic development. We always know, first and foremost, we had to pay the bills. We rely real heavily on the sales and use tax of our local business to be able to accomplish that. The previous council, I think, recognized the unique partnership opportunity that created with our local businesses and really went out of their way, I think, to extend and develop those relationships. Secondarily, our second theme was customer service. We recognized that we needed to improve our service offerings to both our residents as well as our business community. For the residents, we have a new website. We have a new app that you can download on your smartphone, report some issues directly to the service provider. For the businesses, we partnered with the Aurora Small Business Development Corporation that now has offices here, the Small Business Administration. I was very proud that we were only the second municipality in the state of Colorado to commit to providing resources to businesses to start up their business in a single day, and very proud of that accomplishment. Our third theme was communications. Last year, we started an independent communications department here in the city for the first time. I think we had a tremendous success by working with that communications department in impacting, like I said, the perceptions of Inglewood as a place to live and do business. Hopefully you all enjoyed the new Inglewood magazine, the State of the City event, and other things that really provided more communication to the public about what we're doing and why, hopefully providing some points of pride and hope for the future. The fourth theme was events, and we really had a substantial, I think, banner year in events in 2017. Not only do we add a new signature event in our Inglewood Block Party over the summer, where we shut down Broadway, made it pedestrian only, and had several businesses report just on that block alone that they had historic sales for their business that day. A tremendous success for that signature event for the city of Inglewood. We're looking forward to doing that again in 2018. Not only did we have success with the block party, as I mentioned, we also had a lot of success with the State of the City, a very well-attended and well-done event, I thought, here in the City Center. We also had a very wonderful holiday parade, as well as a tree lighting that I thought was one of the most well-attended in the history of Inglewood. Our final theme was placemaking. We did want to do some public improvements in specific areas, really focusing on our downtown, the 3400 block of South Broadway. Right now, unfortunately, that block looks a lot like every other block of Broadway, so we are planning some streetscape improvements. As a matter of fact, this week we'll have some light poles up. Folks will be able to take a look at 3 different options, ranging from more of a contemporary look to more of a traditional look. We'll actually have some ballot boxes out on Broadway there for you to be able to submit your opinions on that. So, with those public improvements, I think differentiating our downtown area is very important to the economic vitality of the area. Finally, as I'm stepping down as the mayor, I wanted to thank my colleagues on the city council for their countless hours of service. I truly believe that everyone sitting on this dais and folks that I'd served with in the past truly had the interest of the city of Inglewood at heart. Although we may disagree on certain policy issues, we all do this for the love of our community. Unfortunately, the pay isn't that great, and sometimes this can be a little bit of a thankless job. But I wanted to, as I'm stepping down here, thank my colleagues and make sure they're aware, I think, of the appreciation that the community has for folks who do that work. I also wanted to thank our city staff. I think we recognize that without having folks here every day pushing our agendas, our policies forward, that nothing would ever get done. So thank you to our management, who I think has done a fantastic job. City Manager Keck is now celebrating about his 3rd year, is that right, here in the city of Inglewood. And the city's really blossomed, I think, under his leadership. And of course, to our staff members who actually execute all of that on a daily basis, I wanted to say thank you. As I mentioned, as I step down and be sworn into this role, we'll be losing a mayor, but we'll also be losing a presiding municipal judge. I would like to introduce to everyone our retiring presiding judge, who will be performing our swearing in this evening, and recognize him and honor him for his 20 years of outstanding service to the community of Inglewood. Judge Atencio, would you mind rising, please? I've joked around with my colleagues on council that once you're a mayor, you're always a mayor, and that I would be referring to myself as Mayor Emeritus from here on out. And I think the same is true of a presiding judge here in the city of Inglewood. So I bought a gavel and that you could take home with you so that you never feel like you have that opportunity. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to present this to you right now.
I think all of us on the dais here share his thoughts on this, and thank you very much for your decades of service to this community. Thank you.
It is 5 terms. That is 5 terms that you ran, and I know you were unopposed for several, but thank you for doing that over and over and over again. The consistency has been invaluable to this community.
Yes, and I echo that as well. And I do appreciate your work. And you came to the code enforcement here a few months ago and just explained how the system works. And I was incredibly impressed. And I do thank you for all that you've done for our city.
As the presiding judge, it's a very different role, but a very equally important function in our community. Our judge oversees the Inglewood Municipal Court that is established by charter and is the only elected judge in Colorado. As everyone has pointed out, Judge Atencio has done 5 terms, a total of 20 years of service to our community. And I think that elected nature provides that accountability, ensures local trust in our judiciary system. And of course, Judge Atencio has filled that very admirably. Finally, I wanted to thank everybody here for being here tonight. Your support means the world to me. Inglewood, I think, truly is defined not just by its spaces. It's truly defined, I think, by the people and relationships in our unique history. And I just wanted to thank you all for your contributions that make our city uniquely Inglewood. At this time, I'd turn the floor over to my colleagues, and if we have any... Actually, you know what I'll do is I will step down at this point. I will turn this meeting over to our Honorable Mayor Pro Tem and let her proceed from here.
Thank you very much. And we would like to make some comments, but I think that we would like to wait later in the program with everybody else, so...
That'll be just fine. Well, thank you
very
again.
much.
It's really been an honor serving with all of you, and been the most rewarding experience of my life, working with the public and working with my colleagues here. So thank you again, and I know we're in good hands with our leadership up here, so the future is very bright here in the city of Inglewood. Thank you again.
Thank you, Joe. So I believe the swearing in is the first item of business for this agenda. So if you want to proceed.
Is it unique that the outgoing judge gets to swear the new incoming judge in?
First choice, and he agreed to do this. So,
That's a good sign.
I, Joe Jefferson, do solemnly swear. I, Joe Jefferson, do solemnly swear. Or affirm that I will support the Constitution. Or affirm that I will support the Constitution. Of the United States of America. The Constitution of the State of Colorado. The Constitution of the State of Colorado. And the Charter and ordinances of the City of Englewood, Colorado. And that I will well, and that I will, to the best of my ability. Faithfully perform the duties of office as a member of the Municipal Court Judge during my continuance there. Congratulations.
And it is with great pleasure that I do introduce to you the Honorable Joe Jefferson. The first item of business is, Joe, would you join us up here? And Shu, would you come and join us also? Okay. Oh, I was a little early.
Are you asking all of us? Okay.
official. Thanks again.
Got to be present.
Do we have any elected officials in the audience with us tonight? If we do, would you please stand? Okay.
Chrisman, the mayor of Cherry Hills Village, our neighbor.
Okay. Oh, yes. If Would you like to come up to the podium and say a few words?
There's some hearing.
There's a microphone.
If you're a politician, you might be able to speak loud enough. Just go right ahead.
And has been to have Inglewood as our neighbor. You guys are wonderful neighbors. And this gentleman has been your greatest cheerleader. And we've been thrilled to be able to work with him. And I am just very excited for you, Joe. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I would like to invite former Mayor Jim Woodward up to the podium to speak to us. And I just thank you, Mr. Woodward, for your service to this community also. And I know that you had influence in Joe's life. So I just thank you for coming to share a few words with us.
Thank you. I'm going to face this way too. Something I don't think anybody has mentioned in here, at least while I've been in here, is Joe is now the longest continuously serving council member in Inglewood's history. By a couple months. But yes. So congratulations on that. And in a few years, Linda may be right behind you and then ahead of you. I served with Joe for 6 of his 10 years on council. It was my pleasure, I may add, most of the time. Met Joe for the first time in 2007 at his first election candidate forum hosted by the League of Women's Voters. He was a young man in his 20s, just out of law school, hadn't taken the bar yet. And if you've been to the League of Women Voters forums, the candidates line up at a table. They're all sitting at a table and are asked questions by the moderator and then by the public, by the people in the audience, where they write it on a card and send it up. And it came to Joe. He wasn't the first person. He was in there, though. I mean, he was one of 6 or 7 people there. And all of a sudden, unlike anybody else that I'd ever seen then or prior years, Joe gets up and starts kind of roaming around in a little area, just like he had finished up a class in law school about closing arguments in court. So this appeared to maybe fit Joe real well, this new judge thing. After being elected, Joe started to show, like all other new council members, that is, he's probably thinking, what have I gotten myself into? I think we have a couple folks up here that may be thinking that or coming into that real soon as the next few months start coming. There's quite the learning curve. I think any council member will tell you that's been on council for any amount of time. Joe was somebody that was not shy about asking questions. Usually he had an opinion in a very diplomatic way. One of his most common terms was, in general, I think. I don't know. I think maybe that's changed since then. But it was, he was just never shy about asking questions of staff or other council members and letting his opinion be known. So, and you have to appreciate that as another council member because you always learn something that way. Joe, one of the very first things you do when you get on council, and I think this council has already done most of that, is get appointments as liaisons to boards and commissions. Joe's first one was ACE. That was a natural. ACE is the board that deals directly with the businesses of the city of Inglewood. And so that was Joe for sure. We also, I remember I was the mayor at the time and asked Joe to consider the Chamber of Commerce, the Greater Inglewood Chamber of Commerce. Now, remember, Joe was, 27 at the time? And he said, oh, yeah, okay. And I said, well, the meetings are at 7 o'clock. You're going to be on the board. Yeah, okay. So your first meeting is Wednesday or whatever, 7 in the morning at the chamber. And Joe's like stunned. In the morning? 7 in the morning? I don't think I can do that. Which is probably typical for his age of somebody that's just out of college and doing his thing. After Joe passed the bar, and I believe it was representing one of, if not your first client in court, I remember kept hearing kind of the story about going into court, and Judge would appreciate this, being reprimanded by the judge for not having his tie. And I believe he was wearing, if he was wearing socks, they were very short ankle socks. I mean, very short over the foot, and it looks like they're bare feet. So I assume you only did that one time. And I'm sure you're looking forward to finding your first newbie and straightening them out. This is decorum of the courts. So, and I was very glad to see you had a tie on today. Usually if you see Joe, he doesn't have that tie on. When we started going to CML conferences up in the mountains, and I think the first one you signed up for, it was like a number of us were there, and it was like, well, where's Joe after 2 days or something? Haven't seen him, haven't been in any classes with him, don't know where he's staying. And I think finally see him end of day 2 or something like that. And, where have you been, Joe? What are you doing? And Joe's up there. He's been taking legal classes for city attorneys and really focusing on the legal side of things and, directly related with cities, which was very interesting. It was a blessing for us to have that kind of knowledge and somebody getting that kind of knowledge from a council member that we all worked with. So thank you for that, Joe. I know you've done that numerous other years, although we saw a lot more of you after that and in different classes, and I think we did that year too. I know the very first NLC conference in Washington, D.C., it was kind of a similar thing, except I don't believe they have legal classes like that, per se. But I think Joe had a few friends come down from New York. And don't get me wrong, I mean, you have free time, and I think Joe utilized that really well. I think he made it to a basketball game with Georgetown and some other things at night. But and I appreciate you going to those courses and those NLC was something that I really believe in as far as learning things. You know, by this time, Joe's got his council legs, and it's after that first year you start picking it up. And boy, after the second year, you know what you're doing. Joe was somebody that really represented the city of Inglewood's businesses. He was an advocate, a very, very strong advocate for the businesses of Inglewood. But not only that, he was a very, very strong advocate for his district, District 1. Joe started the monthly meeting at the Twin Dragon. None of us had our own restaurants that we could do that at, but in our districts or within the city. But I admire you for doing that and sticking with that all the way through 10 years. It wasn't a meeting every single month because there just isn't things to do every single month. But that takes time, that takes planning, and you're using a lot of time to begin with when you're dedicated to council, and Joe certainly was. Joe did pass the bar, and by then he was a regular attorney, so he had a lot going on. Something that is personal to me is Joe included me in some Asian and Chinese forums that were held here, and Shu did also. I mean, I was really brought into these things as the mayor of the city and was really excited in doing them. And they were pretty large. They filled Hampton Hall over here. And I participated in 2 or 3 of them. And I think by the time they were over, I kind of picked up the name as the Chinatown mayor. And you know, once a mayor, always a mayor. Inglewood, Chinatown, wherever. But also there was a presentation or artwork by Asian artwork by Chinese and calligraphy and different types of art. And I was presented with a piece of artwork. The artist gave me, make your choice, take your choice here. And it was like, take your choice of anything on the wall. And this would obviously not be for me. This would be for the city of Inglewood. And so here comes this wonderful, what was it? Probably 8 feet long calligraphy writing, Chinese writing, of which I couldn't read any. But, I mean, it was beautiful. And I believe right now it has been hanging down in our library 1 floor below us. So I appreciate and thank you and Shu for including me in those, and even including me in some after I had left Consul and had the opportunity to go and meet with the same folks and stuff. So thank you for that. One of the things I will remember fondly, in 2000, it would have been 2013, Randy, Mayor Penn, was our mayor at the time, and he had asked us for our goal setting. And Jill Wilson, Councilmember Wilson, and I had come up with one of the same things, and that was revising, doing modifications to our comprehensive plan. And we got appointed to that, and Joe wanted to be involved with that too. Now, we were just going to do modifications or start that process of modifications to say, look at this and look at that. That is a Planning and Zoning Commission duty. But Joe and Jill and I started meeting weekly for some time, going through the whole comprehensive plan and doing our little edits and stuff because it was too expensive to write a brand new plan. Well, I know in I'm trying to think what year I went off council, 2013, or end of 2013. In 2014, 2015, and I think it was in 2016 or 17 when the comprehensive plan was finally approved as a total rewrite. And council must have found the money to do it. So, yeah, it was the 3 J's is what the way we identified ourselves. So, and with that, I just want to thank you for your service of over 10 years to the City Council as a council member, and certainly for the future as our municipal judge, our only elected municipal judge in the state of Colorado.
Thank you, former Mayor Woodward. And now I would like to call up former Mayor Randy Penn to say a few words. Actually, this is very interesting to me because I'm learning a lot.
And now we can't use it against him. So.
You didn't know about Triple J's?
Good point.
Let me regress just a little bit. Vince, congratulations.
Yes.
Vince and I have known each other for quite some time. Went to school together and all that fun. So, yeah, thank you for everything that you did. It's amazing. To the council, you know, I just appreciate everything you do. You give up the great time. You keep going, keep the city going, and we do appreciate it. And thank you so much.
And we also appreciate all you did to keep the city going and still are. Thank you.
Thank you. Joe, the dogs, or the tide? Okay. Now that Jim, and I'm just going to say for Jim, I'm just say ditto, and I need to leave because there's a ball game on, and there's a reason why I never came on Monday night. I wanted to get away from everything that we do on Monday night, so I was thinking that I was going to get home in plenty of time until Jim got up and talked all the time. But that's okay. That way I don't have to say anything, and we can get going. I can get home and enjoy the game, and I will call you, Joe, and text you and let you know what the score is, so you don't have to worry about it. So we can do that. So that's the great thing about not being on council anymore, is you do get to watch Monday Night Football and all the national championships until Rita calls, and my wife says, you know what night that is? And I said, gosh, I can't believe I did that. I almost sent a letter, but this is worthy of coming back. I've not been back to council since I was mayor, and I think sometimes you need to just step aside and let the 7 people that have a lot of intelligence go forward and make the city of Englewood a much better city. So I think, Joe, thank you. I think the first time Joe and I came in here together, we were looking at shadowing at Kent Place. Oh my gosh, that seems like a long time ago. I'm going like shadowing. I thought maybe I didn't shave or something, but it wasn't me. It was a couple tall buildings. We were looking at 12-story buildings over at Kent Place, and they started talking about shadowing. I'm like, oh my gracious me, what am we going to do here? So what it really is nice, though, to carry on with my job being the executive director of the chamber. Joe has been so gracious to come to our ribbon cuttings, come to our events, make sure that if the event is at 7, you tell Joe it's 6:30. I thought that was what this was supposed to be, as a roast and everything, so we can do this. I too had a lot of great memories with Joe, going up to CML, going to National League of Cities, just having the good time. Hopefully the South Metro little mayor soiree kept going on. It was something I created a few years ago, and it was so fun to talk to all of our mayors in the different municipalities in Littleton and Sheridan and Cherry Hills Village and Greenwood Village and Centennial. And sometimes you learn more from that than going to CML or going to some other place where you get to talk to the other mayors and say, what's happening? What are you doing with this? What are the functions that you're doing with this? So it really was good, and I'm glad, Joe, you carried that on, and thank you for doing that. So I think that's excellent. Just anybody that serves, and I really urge anybody, if you have the urging to serve the city, either get on a board and commission or go ahead and step out and get on council and run things. There's so many things that we can do. I've lived in Inglewood since, 1950, 51, 2, somewhere around there. And it's amazing. And you might have all been like that. You probably weren't here in 1950, but the things that you learn about council, the things that your wife says, I don't really care, don't tell me about when you come home. She says you have more information that nobody really knows and wants to know about it, so just keep learning. I'm sure, Joe, you probably learned a lot of those things. So sometimes you have all that knowledge. I know we used to go to little evening parties, and my wife would say, no, don't say anything about the city, just enjoy your life. So I would go, and of course we would be standing there talking, and of course the first thing everybody says is, well, what's happening here with this in Inglewood? What's happening with this? And then so she says, okay, go ahead, talk. Everybody still wants to know. So it is knowledge that you gain, probably unimportant knowledge that you gain because no one else wants to know, but it is knowledge that you have to have and you have to serve with. I think sometimes we as council members and mayors just go forward. I think hopefully, Joe, you had fun with the water board. That's always probably one of the fun ones that you get to attend, and it's one that's probably one of the most important ones that we have in the city of Inglewood because water is so important to us, and I think that's why they have the mayor sit on that board. So, Joe, continue on, have fun, enjoy your life. And let's see, can I bribe him now? I got a $5 or $10. You're gonna fine me double. I hope I never see you other than outside. So we'll be all right.
Thank you. Good idea.
Joe, congratulations. Have a great time. You will do a super job. Please don't stay away from the chamber. Come and see us. And come and see me when I'm fishing and going down to Arizona, enjoying in my life. So congratulations, and we will see you on the other side. Goodbye.
Thank you, former Mayor Penn. And if I'd have known, I would have put you first. Thank you. And as both the former mayors suggested that the boards and commissions are very important. And so I want to call up the chair of the ACE committee, Andrea Mannion, to share a little bit about working with Joe on the ACE committee. Boards and commissions are important, and I'm very grateful that people do step up to the plate. And so anyway, thank you, Andrea.
So, Joe, as you know, I've known you for many years. I think even before you were on council, just because we have such a great small community here in Inglewood, and because Dano and I always ate at Twin Dragon. So, sorry. So as the ACE liaison, you have been very supportive and involved. So I want to thank you for all your time serving. I've been very proud of the accomplishments ACE has made over this time together, and I'm really looking forward to all the upcoming goals we have planned. So ACE is really going to miss you very much, but I think we can feel good that you're confident in leaving us now in the direction that we have. So I just want to say thank you again, and I think you're going to be an excellent judge, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Andrea. And now I would like to call up the chair of the Water Board, Mr. Clyde Wiggins. Okay. And all right, that's great. Thank you so much for taking time to come.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a little sidebar for you, those of you in the audience don't know it. Judge Tencio here, he and I were out putting up campaign signs when I was running for council. I served 8 years, 2 of those years as mayor, but Joe and I were out walking around the neighborhood putting up signs and checking them out, and he and I told His Honor his story when he was doing his campaigning about we caught some teenage young kids taking down, kicking our signs down. And I'm going to tell you, he chased them down, and he gave them holy nail, just so you knew that. Oh, you remember that? You're right. Okay, Joe Jefferson, Mayor, City Judge. I am the chairman of the current Sewer and Water Board, and it's a de facto position that the mayor sits on the board there. And I've known him for 2 years since he's been there on board. He usually has attended every meeting for these last 2 years, and if not, it was due to other city business that was calling for his service. As Randy has said, he usually shows up right as the bell clangs. You know, we're starting the meeting, in comes Joe. But he's there. He's always pursued the best interests of our Inglewood regarding water supplies as well as the needs of the sewer department. Water and sewer together. Yeah. He also saved me at a meeting when a visitor was goading me into an argument. I have a short temper sometimes. Joe stepped in, and being the negotiator and peacekeeper as he was, he calmed down the things and made peace there. And for that, Joe, I want to thank you. You saved my hide. I appreciate that very much. In his new duties as our city judge, his talents will be in demand. He'll be dispensing, as his campaign sign says, justice with dignity. I'm sure of that. He'll be a negotiator in civil matters, and he'll happily join couples in marriage. Now, I think you can still do that, can't you? I remember at one time they told me that the judge was out of town. When I was mayor, I might have to marry somebody over the weekend. And I said, I can only hold them for Saturday and Sunday only. They got to come back and make it official Monday. But I didn't know the mayor had that authority. I don't know if he still did or didn't. And I know you're going to be busy, busy, busy. You think your time was busy as mayor, you're going to be busy more so. I would best describe Joe as full of energy. You can see that. He's well-mannered, very positive. He doesn't have a negative bone in him, I don't think. I haven't heard it. And he's well-organized, and he's the most friendly gentleman I ever run into. I don't know that he goes any place that he doesn't know anybody. He knows everybody. So, what does the future have in store for Inglewood? A learned lawyer, a dedicated city-serving council member and mayor with the best interests of this city uppermost, and now serving us as our new city judge, or a new TV star, the replacement for JJ, Judge Judy, or Judge Joe. You know the answer. Congratulations, Joe. Good job.
Thank you. And actually, we have a guest tonight, the representative from the Denver Chinese School, would like to say a few words.
Thank you for the opportunity. I know I'm not tall enough to speak for Joe, but I do have the full heart for him. So I'm the principal of Denver Chinese School. We have 3 campuses, Highland Ranch, DTC, and Lakewood, and I'm from Highland Ranch. So I belong to District 26, but it doesn't mean that Joe doesn't represent me. It only means that people from District 26 also support Joe. So Joe has been a great friend of Denver Chinese School. We have been inviting Joe to our school to present rewards, to speak to our students, just to do a lot of fun things with our kids. And I remember, Joe is always towering above me, and I tower above the little kids, so he is 2 towers up there. But Joe is a very friendly mayor. At the time he was the mayor, and then Joe, he is really a great role model for our kids. My kids are over there, and I always ask them to look up to Joe, and they literally do because they're shorter. But Joe is very down to earth, very diligent, and then we truly enjoy working with Joe, and we really appreciate Joe's help and support to Denver Chinese School, and we really wish you the great success in your future, and you do have a very bright future. So thank you, Joe, and thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. And I would now like to call up our resident historian and long-term resident and our current Citizen of the Year to give us a little additional history on Joe. I mean, I didn't realize we were already going to get some, but this is great. Doug Cohn.
Thank you. I've learned some things from your mom. I'll share those tonight. Joe grew up in the Twin Dragon restaurant. That's their family owns on Broadway. He graduated from Mullen High School in 1998, which means he's not an Inglewood pirate. But that's okay. In high school, he played basketball and organized youth sports programs. He helped the kids pay for the sports. There was one time when the kids did not have enough money, so he asked his mom to help, and she donated $200 to the sports kids. He was also in the leadership club at Mullen. As a little kid, he waited tables at the Twin Dragon and learned how to get along with a whole variety of people. One time, the customers said that they really loved the restaurant, and he reported back to his mom, "Mom, they love me." He learned about all different kinds of people by serving them in the restaurant. He learned how to listen. He learned how to solve problems on the spot. He learned how to be gracious. He learned how to get the job done. He graduated from Cornell University in 2002 and enrolled in the Denver University Law School in 2005. And he wanted to do something around Inglewood. He was appointed to the Keep Inglewood Beautiful Commission, and he wanted to do more. He wanted to help the business community. He began to network with the business people. He helped with the Business Improvement District during its life. He was instrumental in the Alliance for Commerce in Inglewood. That's that thing called ACE. I met him in 2006 when the Twin Dragons set up a food booth at the Inglewood Days car show. I got to know him better when he was running for council in 2007. He wanted to do more for the city. I looked at him and said, "Joe, you're a kid. Wait a second. Do you have any idea what you're getting into? Is it possible to go to law school and do all the city council stuff? For those of you who don't know, being a city council person is real close to being a full-time job. And then going to school all day long is real close to being a full-time job. And there are some people who can do both of those." He graduated from DU Law School in 2008 and kept on with counsel. He set up his own law firm. Now he's working 2 full-time jobs, being the mayor and the councilman and running the whole law firm thing. And eventually he became the mayor. And now tonight, we've sworn you in as the new municipal judge. Joe, what a ride you've had. Congratulations, and good luck with your new adventure.
And now I would like to call City Manager Keck up to make a presentation. And Joe, you probably should come up also.
Well, Mayor, now Judge, Honorable Jefferson, on behalf of the city, we'd like to present this plaque as a memento you can keep in your new office. Here on the second floor, it basically says, Englewood City Council, dedicated years of service, November 19th, 2007 to January 8th, 2018, Joe Jefferson. So congratulations. It's been a real honor and pleasure to have worked with Joe. First is obviously in capacity as counsel. He was on the council that helped select me, so I've been appreciative of that. Thank you. To be able to serve, to be able to serve this community, it's been an honor to work with you, and only wish you the best. Obviously, because of the separation of powers, we're not going to see each other as much, but I just know that as staff, we're here to help you to be successful as well. And everybody's already kind of mentioned this tonight. It's kind of been a running kind of a joke. You know, there's 4 time zones, or maybe even more of that in the United States, but there's a 5th that we joke about. It's called JST, Joe Standard Time. So we want to avoid getting stuck in JST tonight because we still have a council meeting. But again, congratulations and thank you.
And then, Joe, if you'll meet me at the podium, I would like to make a couple presentations from City Council, and then I would like to open the floor for City Council to give concluding remarks. We want to thank you for your years of service to the city and how you work tirelessly. And so we got you a gavel to remember your service to the city. And you're welcome. And then, because you're going into a new position and people can't come to council to talk to you anymore, we would like them to tell it to the judge. And actually, this plaque was made by a constituent in District 3, Scott Marsh, and it is amazing.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you. And
you know, Mayor Pro Tem, I would like the record to note that every council meeting always started on time for my clock. So I don't...
Close.
It's delusional. Did you want to start from that side, or where are we?
Sure. Jill, it's been fun hearing all the stories about you tonight, and just want to say thank you for your years of service to the community and everything that you have brought to the community, and wishing you best of luck in your next role.
I'm going to, as my tenure here is longer, going to take the last statement. Go ahead. I've served the longest with Joe, so I have a few things I want to say at the end.
Right, Lord Mayor Judge Jefferson. It's been far too short, too brief, but I thank you for all of your guidance and your friendship and your mentorship to me. I think you're a big part of why I'm sitting here today. Yes. Everything comes with learning and growing, and I wish you the best as you learn and grow and develop into your new role as judge, as municipal judge. Nothing in life is easy, but I know that you know what to do to rise to every challenge. So I'm here. I'm glad that you're not leaving the city or the state. Englewood has been very good for knowing and having you and your family and your mother for so long. Thank you for your friendship, and best of luck.
Former Mayor Woodward, I'm not going to say that you're oftentimes wrong, but on this one issue you are. According to Joe's mother, a very reliable source, in the 10 years that he was on city council, he only missed holding one monthly meeting for District 1. Only one time. And according to her, it was because of the snow. It wasn't because of him. So that's dedication, because apparently everybody in District 1 always had something to talk to him about. So, and he said a couple of times there may have only been one person, but he still held that meeting, and most of the time it was a lot more than that. And I appreciate that kind of dedication. He has been through roughly 3 city managers in his 10 years, 3 assistant city managers, 3 city attorneys, over 27 different department directors, had to work with more than 13 different council people, so that's always a challenge sometimes. And you have run 4 successful elections. And yet, come on up here. I believe you're going to miss us.
Box we're crying into? Is that
One of the things that he really relies on us for sometimes to help make a decision. He has been gracious and kind and a good leader. And a good leader in this kind of group defers to other people and allows them to shine, allows them the opportunity to make decisions. And he has at times, because of his own, had his to allow us to help decide. So I got you this to help in case you miss us.
It's not uncomfortable at all.
Be careful what jumps out. Be careful what jumps out. What is it?
Back under the desk doing this. You better hope that the magic 8-ball lights do. Thank you very much for your friendship.
Congratulations. Many, many congratulations. I would also like to thank Judge Atencio. That is a tremendous amount of service, and I am very grateful, as I know most all Inglewood citizens are. Also to Mayor Pro Tem Russell, thank you for coordinating this evening. This was very thoughtful and well-deserved. I've known Joe for a very long time. He and I went to grade school together and have really known each other since then. In what seems like a prior life now, we used to wander these halls when it was Cinderella City Mall. There was an arcade we would frequent, a comic book store, several sneaker shops, and various other places. And he has turned into just a prolific success. And I mean that professionally. Great schools, law firm, councilman, sounds like the longest tenured councilman, mayor, just incredibly successful. And I think even beyond that, though, just successful as a good guy. It speaks to how well regarded you are that you have this many people attend your meeting this evening. And so I'm lucky to call myself a friend of yours, and I'm very proud to see how well you've done. I think it's a credit to Ms. Joe Jefferson, Mr. Richard Jefferson, Dino, who have all been very good to me as well over the years, and just your profoundly hard work that you've put in year after year after year. And so from wandering these halls, looking at sneakers, tapes, CDs, to now being a judge here. You've really come full circle, and I should be tremendously proud of yourself. I certainly am, and I wish you the best. Judge Atencio mentioned bringing in a tailor for that robe, but it's a good fit. Looks good to me. So congratulations. I'm very happy for you.
So don't worry, I don't have a roast. I do want to thank Judge Atencio again, too, for all of your years of service, and I wish you the best as you go into your next stage in life, and I'll take some tips from you, too. But I hope to see you again. And, Shu, these flowers are just smelling wonderful up here, and I hope you get to take them home and enjoy them, and that it'll be a celebration of the fragrance of being a mother. As another mother, it's wonderful to see our kids grow up and do things that make us proud, and I know that Joe has been, over the many years that he's served here, made you very proud, and I'm sure he will keep that up. And Joe, I have 3 tips for you. One thing that I've appreciated about the years of service here is that you keep learning. You're always learning. You were at the ethics things all the time when we were doing other things. You probably were getting better seminars at CML than we were. And so keep learning. And my second advice to you is keep learning. And my last point is never stop learning. So you're going to do well if you keep doing that. I'm sure it's going to be a tremendous learning curve, but it would be for anyone. And so lean into it and enjoy it. So I wish you the best, and I wish the city the best. Thank you.
Mayor Jefferson, I just want to thank you for your service. And I have seen tremendous growth since I've probably only been involved in the city, probably the last 4 years ago, I think, is when I first started paying attention. And when I first started coming to council, I believe, Joe, you were sitting on the end down here. And I just have seen tremendous growth since that point. I do believe that Mayor Jefferson is one of the kindest young men that I know. And I saw it when he was dealing with constituents. They would come up, and if someone was not treating them respectfully, Joe would address people. And the interesting thing is he treated all of the council members as respectfully also. And I believe that Joe, we did have a couple years that it was a little bit difficult, and Joe worked tirelessly to unite council, and he was friends to all of the council members. And I greatly appreciate your example, Joe. I believe that you're going to do well in the judge position, and I want to wish you the best. And another thing that I've seen, this whole economic development piece, I mean, Joe has talked about it for the last 2 years. And just in the last month, when I've gone to a couple of meetings with him, he continues to work till the very end. And so I appreciate your faithfulness, Joe, and just thank you for the years that you've given this city and are going to continue to give this city. And we wish you the best. Thank you so much. And with that, we will adjourn, and you are all welcome to go out to the foyer and enjoy fellowshipping together and enjoy the refreshments. And council will convene in 10 minutes in 10.
Well, we won't be here till 1 in the morning, Joe.